This time the result was slightly more resounding. 65% answered yes, they did believe the campaign was authentic, with just an eighth arguing otherwise. This, again, was subject of a laborious effort from myself, and I was pleased with the results. It seems the hard work, adding correct fonts such as steel tongues, incorporating the correct logos, and creating my own, and my hardened work towards Hollywood-style shots had paid off. Finally, I quizzed the viewers on whether the trailer would persuade them to attend the cinema showings of Angel of Death. This was most pleasing, as all but one said they would flock to watch my movie. After all, following on conventions, working with new technologies, and venturing towards the audience's needs, this is proof, I believe, that the hard work was worth it. For the next form of market research, I posted a link towards my trailer on the social network Facebook, which is littered with people in my target audience range of 16 to 40, to ask for some opinions on my video. I had to pick out some of the more constructive ones, and they are as follows. Lewis Gill said that I used very good use of mise-en-scène, and that he liked the construction of the trailer and a good sense of narrative. Sam Cooley said he liked the effects of the disappearing guy, and commended me, saying nicely done. Anisha Mystery said she really liked the rain shots I have used throughout the trailer. The camera is steady in the right places, and she really liked the calmness of the narration over the trailer, as it contrasts with the panic and the message that is being conveyed. However, she did make one criticism, saying that the volume of the narration is pretty low, but ended by saying that all in all, it's awesome. Ibrahim Adat said that it was awesome, saying that it looked like a cult hit, but also commented that the only thing he didn't like was the scene of the kid at the end of the scene, because it didn't really go with the music and it was sort of an anti-climax to the whole trailer as a whole. Rupi Cyan said that it was pretty good trailer. Only criticism is the volume of the narration, and recommended me to use the saw voice, but this would have been problematic to me because of copyright laws. But again, he ended the comment with another compliment. For the final piece of audience feedback, I asked some people in my target audience to give their opinions on both the trailer and the ancillary tasks, and here is what they said.
A particular shot when there's a mysterious black figure just walking across the street, and that obviously sets a mystery of like, who is this black figure? Enigma is a great use of this, obviously, and how it fades into it obviously adds that supernatural effect of the actual whole scenario. Another effect is how it uses certain like narratives and for certain points, like there's one narrative of a certain child and another narrative of another child, and how they both link in is quite well, because that would obviously be quite a hard thing to do. The use of mise-en-scène and everything is quite cool because it sets the enigma, it obviously sets a bit of narrative. Isolation is obviously a main point of this, and it obviously does that with use of darkness and just the one character by itself in every shot.
So the people in it, the so-called victims, just normal people. So again, it makes somebody like me look over my shoulder every now and again, because you never know who's going to be behind you.
The background image of it shows the location of it and sets isolation as well. And the use of colours is like black and red, which obviously connotes blood, mystery, and many other forces that could obviously be linked to the horror genre.
The flickering of the figure going across the walkway, and then when it says about make sure your curtains are closed, the figure's in front of you, staring at you, the man can't see it. So yeah, I'd say that was pretty realistic.
To be honest, I actually probably would, because there's nothing particularly wrong with it I can see. It shows location, it shows characters. It even has a particular tagline from the Empire magazine saying it's a destined hit under Stephen's stewardship. The sense that it uses a news broadcast right at the beginning of it obviously sets that fear of like a moral panic of people standing in their rooms, particular people sitting in their own rooms, seeing the news about how anyone can be in danger at this particular time. Even the use of people being told not to go outside is obviously a great fear for everyone. And the use of the third rule saying do not close your curtains. I mean, like with the use of the curtains, that's obviously a great horror convention, because if anyone knows anything about horror films, it's always right behind you, particularly. Another great bit is the use of gravestones. The gravestones obviously set that connotation of death and the awakening of death, and that also links in with the poster used when it says awakening in this particular day.
Well, I like thrillers, I like horrors. I don't like gory horrors, I didn't see no blood. So to me, it's kind of fun, that probably interests me. I don't like too much extravagant violent behaviour. I don't think you need it in films. Just the threat of violence sometimes, to me, as the trailer spoke to me, is better than actual the physical violence. The threat of violence is there. I don't need to see it. I can imagine it.
The white background contrasts obviously with black font, which is a great convention because it sets more attention to itself. The use of the barbed wire in the background obviously shows violence, mystery, sets a bit of enigma, wondering why it's actually there. The use of the tagline, "It will define them forever," obviously includes the idea of what is going to get defined and who is them. Sets great enigma, I believe.
I'd like to think it's different to most of the horror films I've seen before. Half the trailer was done in the daylight, and you don't normally see that. It's normally always in the middle of the night, waiting for the clock to strike 12, and then horror begins. But obviously, like the young lad going to school through the churchyard, it's obviously in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, on the way to school, or on the way back from school about 3:30. Horror films don't normally show you anything around that time. It's normally the twilight hours. So I think this has got a unique spin on itself.
Angel of Death obviously is the title of the film, and obviously Angel and Death both contradict each other. It's a great idea used, I believe. The use of how it says awakening 14th of December 2010 would obviously tell me that the word awakening is something that's not supposed to be awoken. So obviously the sense of supernatural is obviously used in this context.
I thought the two iconic figures either side looked like it could be the same person in the hood. So it's the same height, so it made me think, is it the same person doing the killing? Doubt very much, because obviously he's the one who's going to get slayed at some point.
With the use of the actual trailer itself, the reason why it can be considered conventional is obviously because of the music used in it is very clever music, using certain like church chimes, obviously set the religious factor. The religious factor also brings up the sense of hell and heaven, and obviously hell connotes devils, evil, mystery. And the use of Angel of Death obviously brings this into light as well.
Nice, neat, tidy picture. Again, it looks quite eerie with the white in the background rather than the black. Obviously on a nice frosty, cold, snowy day as well. So yeah, different to most things I've seen before.
Into horror films myself, and after watching that I would believe that this film obviously is something different with the use of colours and the use of the images used in it. Obviously set mystery, fear, enigma, and that obviously are the three main points of actual horror film, because that's why we go to watch films, to see what the final scare is, why the particular things are happening in the actual film. So yeah, they were the main reasons why I'd probably go watch this film.
Again, the people were very complimentary of my work, suggesting that the white colour scheme I designed was effective. The conventions I followed were obvious, but rightly so, and they also said that the products had a certain authenticity to them. This is pleasing, as is the entire audience research section, as the feedback has been fantastic, suggesting that the promotional campaign went down well amongst the very people I hoped it would do.
For the final question, I'll be talking about how new media technologies help me evaluate the construction, planning, research and evaluation of my own work.
A sturdy tripod was essential, something I didn't always get. For the shots outdoors, the lighting wasn't perfect, especially during the late hours for Darren's chase scenes. For this reason, I changed the lighting settings on the display functions page to night mode, meaning the brightness was increased, showing more of the locations shot. I was keen not to show too much, however, because these scenes needed to be completely dark. We see it all too often in films that have unrealistic lighting that makes the scenes look like they were obviously assisted by a lighting producer. By using sheer darkness like this, with only the car's headlights to show the scene, means that the scene remains real, authentic and raw, something that big movies rarely do anymore. To film this scene, along with the Timothy chase scene, I held the camera in my hand and followed the action myself.